Well, hello, and welcome to everyone. I want to welcome you to the Lockhart Radio Podcast. This is Felicia Lockhart, and it's so good to be here with each and every one of you this evening. I want to tell you that the story that we're going to be dealing with tonight is we have a couple of them, as a matter of fact. We've got this hard hitting story that's dealing with the FBI that has gone into Dolton, and I'm going to give you guys my perspective on that. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think, exactly what it's all about, Alfie. We're going to do all of that tonight because I think it's important that we do it. Uh, there is a couple of things that, since I've been away and not on this necessarily on this side, that you guys may or may not have heard about. And yeah, we're going to get into that right quick. Let me come over here and say hello so I can see your wonderful faces. There you all are. Hello. Yeah, we're going to deal with a lot of this that's going on tonight. Now, some of you may already know that Lori Lightfoot is now working with the Dolton trustees, the city of Dolton, or I should say it's within the township, right, of Thornton. And so what's going on now is that they've actually called in Lori Lightfoot to help them get things underway. Now, there's a lot of people that have a lot of things to say about it. You have a lot of people saying, oh my God, that was absolutely horrible. Why in the world would they ever do that? And I personally feel like it was absolutely genius. Twofold. I'm going to play two sides to the middle here because I have to. I'm going to play the side that they let me see, which is what we see before us. And then I'm going to play the side that tells me what's really going on in my gut. Although, you don't necessarily have to be right. I don't have to be right. It could just be that what's happening out there is exactly what we see, and that's it. But I don't think so. Let's talk about this. Why do I think it was an okay thing for them to bring Lori Lightfoot in? It reminds me of people who have hired informants in the past. You ever see somebody who will hire? Oh, great example. Some of the guys that get out of jail, unfortunately, are not able to get jobs sometimes, and those guys are the individuals that they hire to be what? Let me look in the chat. What do they hire them to be? Security guards? Maybe. Hey, Black Spring Without Rusty Smith, it's good to see you. Kerry Richardson, Steve Willis, I love you. Good to see you. Solemn Peace, great to see you in Revelation Broadcasting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's good to see you today, this evening. So what I think is, when you consider who they had to bring in and watch the money, even in the Bible days, was the bad guy who used to be a thief. I'm not calling Lori Lightfoot no thief. Lord knows anybody making $400 an hour, I definitely can't go up against you, baby. But what I will say is, I got to get that juju off me. Beetlejuice. Had to get the juju off me so I didn't have to, have to say anything bad. I don't want anything bad to happen. What I will say is I think it was brilliant of them to bring her in, looking at things from our face value, just with what we have to go by. Not using any intuitive gifting or any of that stuff, just looking at what they got going on. Wise decision. Because she's going to know exactly what to do, how to turn stuff over, and what, money changers table to kick over and where to look. And then let's just not forget what I think about a lot of the individuals who got some of these positions, especially melanated individuals. We can't overlook this. What I think is that a lot of them took those positions with promises of X, Y, or Z. They wanted you to be as brash and as loud as you could possibly be and be as hard and as stern. And you should do this and you should try to do that. And you should tell them not to go get their hair cut. And then in the same voice, girl, you need your hair cut. You think I should go get it cut? Yeah, go get your hair cut, girl. You the mayor. Go get your hair cut. But I don't know. I just told everybody not to go get their hair cut. I feel sort of silly, although I think I do need to get my hair cut. Go get your hair cut. And then the next thing you know, well, I have to get my hair cut. Stop. Quit. Don't throw no more apples. Quit hitting me with them tomatoes. I had to get my hair cut because I'm a public figure. I'm just saying. Monkey see, monkey do didn't work that day. Period. But with that said, considering all of that and considering the fact that we are putting it on the back burner, Felicia, I think it was a wise decision. Now, here's what happened. I'm going to tell you guys what happened. I'm going to show you guys what happened as far as the news reports are concerned, but I'm going to tell you what happened. Here's what happened. What happened is Miss Tiffany Henyard, because the FBI, we now know for sure, for a fact, they went in and raided. And see, the word raid to us, just regular folks, is when them folks come in your dwelling under any circumstances. That's considered a raid to us, just regular people. Oh, my camera was unplugged? That's not possible. I'm still sitting here looking at my camera, and my camera is fine. Hey, Derek, can you guys see me, see or hear? It looks like you can still hear, but it says my camera was unplugged, which is impossible because, well, I'm sitting here with it. It's impossible. Ask a baby not to cry. It's just impossible. Okay, I guess it is. I guess I'm going to have to do it like this for the rest of the day, right? It's saying another browser is using my camera. I don't know how. Another browser is using my camera. I'm going to still say what I got to say. So, hey, Flow State, I'm back. So, here is the skinny. They called on Lori Lightfoot, and by they, I mean the 4 individuals who were still able to get some votes done. Those were the trustees. They called on Lori Lightfoot to have her come in, and it's like calling in the mice to chase out the rats. Now we're calling in the mice to chase out the elephants, and what we'll do is we'll deal with the rats or the mice after we get rid of the elephants type of thing. Okay. But what they did is they called her in and they asked her to come in, work with them, and see what they could do about having her fix this whole entire situation. Well, what happened? Well, she came in and she says, yes, I'll take the job. Now, Delgado, who actually is the counsel for them, said, hey, no, I'm making $900,000 here. And you guys aren't going to bring her in to put me out or I'll sue you. So they said, okay, fine. We'll just change her title and we'll make her something like a consultant or whatever. We'll see when we get into the stories. I'm just giving you guys a quick backdrop. I'm going to tell you what happened. The reason why the FBI was there so lickety split and in your face is because Tiffany Henyard more than likely tried her regular, I ain't giving nobody nothing. I already done canceled out all the FOIA requests. Can't nobody get a FOIA request. And then what she says, I'm not letting nobody get no FOIAs. Also, it's been stated by one of the trustees that a lot of shredding was going on. How stupid can you get? This is RICO. Clear and simple. In tandem with that, Freeman, who was a gentleman who was allegedly a 1099 one day, and then the next day he was an employee, he has been indicted. He's been indicted dealing with bankruptcy court because he only claimed one set of employment and not the other form of the employment, which was all public record. His employment was all public record. And what did he say? This is the only job I have. They said that he lied several times, allegedly, on bankruptcy documents, which is why they have now indicted him. Now let's get on to the next big elephant in the room, and that is what happened in Las Vegas, baby, didn't stay in Las Vegas, because what happened in Las Vegas to the former employee, allegedly, that worked as the assistant to Tiffany Henyard did not stay there, because the police officer who was told by the alleged assailant, in this case, what he had done to this woman, and we'll see that as well, he told, and then she told. And now, according to reports, Las Vegas is looking into it, because obviously there's nothing anybody can do in the state of Illinois because the situation happened there in Las Vegas. Now, what can happen in Illinois is the fact that they not only put this woman on leave, medical leave, but they absolutely turned around and fired her after promising her some type of protection. I'll take care of it, quote unquote, is what Henyard said. So now we have why I believe the FBI came on in, because they got Lori Lightfoot on the case. And Lori Lightfoot possibly went and had her people approach and say, we need X. And now you have Miss Lori Lightfoot, who ain't about to play with you. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. She's not about to play with you. And if you mess with her, you messing with her ego. Because now she got to get the neck roll and tell you, what you mean I ain't going to get no documentos? You better give me them papers. We ain't got to give her nothing. Don't give her nothing. Don't answer that phone. Why you answer that phone? I just thought I was supposed to answer. No, you don't answer that phone. And so when that started happening, this is my idea of what's up, because I don't know for sure. It's just my idea. You let me know down below if you think you agree or not. But the reason why they got them FBI folks, so they said they were plain clothes. The reason why they was there as lickety split as they were is because she's not playing with them. Again, if we're taking it by face value, when I give my perspective at the end of all of this, I'm going to tell you full package, everything I think. So let's get into it. Let me pull up some of the stuff. I want to say hey to everybody before we get in to all of this. Let's see. I'm going to go to the FBI serves the subpoenas, because we've all been following this together for a minute. All right. This is WGN. This is all credit to them. This is not my work. And of course, it is fair use. I will be using it for commentary purposes. I will be using it to discuss it. I'll be using it for reporting and everything else that goes under the 1976 Copyright Act, section, I believe it is 107, and we'll double check, but it is already printed here inside of my description. So there's that. Let's get on with this.
Breaking news here at 5 o'clock. WGN Investigates has learned the FBI has paid a visit to the Village Hall in Dolton today.
And WGN's Ben Bradley has been working this story. He joins us now with the very latest tonight.
Ray and Micah, sources tell us a handful of FBI agents arrived at Dolton Village Hall just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. But has been practice in recent weeks. The doors were locked and the agents had to identify themselves to the employees inside and order them to open the doors. Video recorded by a witness shows the agents just inside the doorway there. We don't know who they were there to see or what they were looking for. Skycam 9 was over Village Hall in the past hour. We're told this was not a full-blown search or seizure of computers or other potential evidence. The agents were there likely serving subpoenas. An FBI Chicago spokesperson will only say the FBI was conducting court-authorized law enforcement activity in that area today. Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who also serves as Thornton Township supervisor, has been the focus of months of WGN Investigates reporting. She's accused of retaliating against people she perceives as her political opponents and spent nearly $100,000 of taxpayer money in the past year on travel for her and her entourage. Trustees in Dolton have also accused her of improperly approving payments to vendors. The FBI arrival today comes the same week as Henyard's top aide in both Dolton and the township was charged with bankruptcy fraud. Keith Freeman is accused of lying about and hiding his income from the village of Dolton. Again, we don't know what the FBI's interest at Dolton Village Hall was today, but this afternoon's visit and the serving of subpoenas is a significant development in a community that has been increasingly clamoring for accountability.
At what point do you think we'll know what the FBI is after?
Well, the subpoenas are likely under seal. They haven't turned up on the court record system yet. We'll file Freedom of Information Act requests with Dolton, but they haven't been responding to those for months. The Attorney General got involved, so it may be a little while before we find out specifics.
Thank you.
Now, even though we saw there that he was saying that they would request FOIAs, she has not allowed any FOIA request to be acknowledged or to be followed through with. So in other words, you can go in there and you can do the Freedom of Information Act Anybody that's there, it's public record, can go and request documents or records. And by law, both federal law and according to their, state law, they're supposed to be able to give you information and documentation when you request it because it's a public entity. All right. She hasn't been doing that. And she's publicly stated that people weren't going to get any information. Now, tandem with that, she has been, of course, hiding money, not letting everybody know anything. And the part that really bothers me and the part that gets me is she has counsel sitting right to her right every single time she is in one of the meetings. So it's almost as if he has taught her or someone has taught her how to get right up against the line and just sit there and not cross it. Because there was a couple of times where she was on Roland Martin, and we reviewed that here on the Lockhart Perspective, where she went in and she told Roland Martin, I don't have anything to do with the Tiffany Henyard organization. And on paper, she did not. So she was not lying. It was her organization because she audibly said it in a meeting, but on paper, it's not there. So I think somebody has coached her and has taught her exactly how to get right up against that line and just pillow talk, just real soft, sweet talk. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because homegirl has been untouchable, but what she has done and what there is proof of is she has prevented people from being able to do what they're legally supposed to do, and that is go into those meetings, sit down, let their voices be heard, and go on. The last meeting that I watched when I just couldn't take no more was when she literally had the police standing up there when people got up to speak and were giving them 2 to 3 minutes to say what they had to say. And you pay your taxes there. Anyway, let's get on to the next portion because they mentioned Keith Freeman. I mentioned him, and I'm going to go ahead and let you see that now. All right. There we are.
We begin with the FBI at Dolton Village Hall. Elizabeth Matthews reports many in the south suburbs believe this is only the tip of the iceberg. Elizabeth.
Don, the mayor here has been accused of misusing funds. The mayor and a trustee are being sued for an alleged sexual assault against a former village employee. The village administrator now facing bankruptcy fraud charges. And today, this afternoon, federal agents popping in Village Hall looking for some information.
The house of cards are collapsing. I think the government is taking action.
It's normally bad news when federal agents stop by a village hall looking for documents, but that's not bad news to many in Dolton.
Months and months and months, we've been begging for someone to come out here and actually investigate as to what's actually going on out here.
Video appears to show those federal agents inside Village Hall Friday afternoon, where we've learned they were serving 2 subpoenas. One focuses on employment and disciplinary records of 25 Village of Dolton employees, including 3 police officers and Keith Freeman, the senior administrator recently charged with bankruptcy fraud. The other subpoena focuses on Freeman and any potential involvement with certain companies, whether or not they received any money, had business or contracts relating to the village. One trustee says Mayor Tiffany Henyard has left them in the dark for months.
Since September, we haven't received financials. And the last time we did receive financials, we were informed that we were $7 million in debt.
The Legislative Council for the Board of Trustees says the feds may have a tough time getting the documents they're requesting.
The clerk is the custodian of the records. That's the good news. The bad news is she doesn't have any records because they have taken the records away from her.
I was being told that those documents probably have been shredded weeks ago.
The news of the Fed's Friday visit even drawing a crowd near Village Hall, as many in the community support an investigation into Henyard's practices. The trustees even hiring former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot this month to investigate the Dolton mayor.
The people of Dolton want to be rescued. They.
All right. Now, you guys have seen that portion. I want to take you here. Okay, there. Here's where I want to take you because we sort of went over that. I just wanted to get that little piece where they were talking about him, Keith Freeman, who is the gentleman who is on the thumbnail down to the left up underneath Lori Lightfoot. All right, this man right here is Andrew Holmes. Andrew Holmes, they consider him to be an activist. Now he does have some people who agree with him, and he has some people who disagree with him. The people who disagree with him consider him something like an ambulance chaser or like a bad story chaser. If you guys remember, there was a situation with a young lady there in, I believe it was Chicago. Her mom ended up suing Illinois, I believe, or the hotel where her daughter was walked into a freezer. He was one of the people who were, like trying to stand up for her. And according to the mother, she wanted him to get as far away from her as he possibly could. Why? Because he was really causing a ruckus and he was not to be trusted, according to the mother. Okay. Now, in tandem with that, this is the same man that they accused there in Dolton of not living in the city, not living in the area, and yet he was a trustee. How do you vote for somebody who doesn't live in the area without doing your due diligence is beyond me, but that's exactly what happened. Now, let me tell you guys this. I said to you all about 2 months ago, maybe even 3, when we first started doing this story and following and unraveling it, I kept saying there's something more going on here. And I shed light that I believe that in a minute, you're not going to see any more of us doing this kind of work anymore. They're going to start to be a little more selective with who they allow to be elected, because they're going to want everybody to understand, well, we gave this one a chance, well, we voted this one a chance, and this one came and we let this one come in and they took all the money. They did this and they ran around. These people have been put here for a purpose, for a time and a season, baby. You don't get elected by accident, especially when you consider that lately what we have seen is this large concerted effort to dismantle the United States from the inside out. And it is evidenced by what we are looking at every single day. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. No one has to work for as a physicist or as a scientist or a biologist, marine biologist, or a brain surgeon. You don't have to do any of that to see the writing on the wall. So it is very, very possible that a lot of these individuals that we are complaining about, that we have in the forefront, that are all melanated people, it's not by accident that these individuals are allowed to be where they are. And now it says my browser has lost connection to my camera. Wow. As long as you guys can still hear me, I guess we're okay. Knock on some wood. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. So that is exactly what is going on. Let's see. Your browser has lost connection to your camera. Make sure that you have the right camera selected and close any other applications that might be using it, Skype or Zoom. And then you can click the camera button again to try to restart your browser or computer if this continues. Well, there, won't go. There, I'm back. What's the deal? Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. So what I believe is these individuals are placed for a purpose, a time, and a season. And that once they have gone through and they have been seen by all, everyone will have one consensus, and that is that these people cannot be trusted. They're all corrupt. They are all no good. Even if they all get together once a year and have a secret meeting, every single female. Think it not strange that there was a majority of Black women who voted for the most recent president. Think it not strange that they're all Black independent women who don't need no man, and ain't none of them got one. Think it not strange that each and every one of these women have been accused of doing something quite fraudulent and something unseemly. Don't think any of that is strange. And don't you know that's not all of us? So there may be a couple out there that have done good, but you don't see them. At least not in the limelight. You don't see them. And if you see them, then that means they must be on a community level where you can see them, but they're not where the cameras and the lights and the action is. This man has something to him. Let's get into this.
Better known for his work as a crisis responder helping victims of gun violence, Andrew Holmes has also served for several years as a trustee in the village of Dolton. Holmes is now named in a civil lawsuit filed Monday by a Dolton police officer and former member of Mayor Tiffany Henyard's security detail, as well as a former village employee who believes she was sexually assaulted by Holmes. We are withholding her identity because of the nature of the allegations, which are now, according to 4 Dolton trustees, part of what former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot will take on in her new job as special investigator into Mayor Henyard's tenure.
She will be looking at it in a civil manner to give the board an idea. This is not a criminal matter that she's looking at it from that perspective.
The complaint says the alleged incident took place during a trip to Las Vegas in May of last year that included Henyard along with various employees from the village and Thornton Township. It was during the last evening of that trip that the complaint alleges police officer Byron Miles received a phone call from Holmes, who began describing a host of his exploits from the trip, many of a sexual nature. And there was some suggestion that she may not have had the ability to consent and/or did not provide consent. It is at this point that, according to the complaint, Officer Miles began to record the call, which eventually switched over to FaceTime. Trustee Holmes then panned the camera toward a bed where Officer Miles could see a woman who was partially undressed. The complaint goes on to say that the following day, when the woman in question woke up, she found she was in Trustee Holmes' hotel room, fully dressed. She was embarrassed as she believed she had blacked out. However, it was not, according to the complaint, until their return to Dolton that Officer Miles, suspecting that the alleged victim was not aware of what had transpired, went to her with what he knew. The lawsuit alleges that at a later meeting with the mayor, Henyard stated if that information got out, Henyard would be ruined and all of the work she had done would be lost. According to the lawsuit, within weeks, the alleged victim was out of a job and Officer Miles removed from the mayor's security detail. The lawsuit asserts claims against Henyard for retaliation. While our calls to Andrew Holmes have gone unanswered today, a spokesperson for Tiffany Henyard said they are cooperating, but would not comment on an ongoing investigation. They did, however, point us to a statement issued a few weeks ago before Holmes was specifically named, saying that the village of Dolton previously conducted their own investigation into the matter. Former police officer Miles was interviewed and denied knowing anything about these allegations. Also, despite numerous attempts.
Okay, so now remember what you're seeing now. These comments are coming from Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Dolton's office. Okay, it's not coming from the individuals. This is coming from their office after they did their own internal investigation of themselves. Yeah, that works.
By the village's independent investigators to contact the employee, she refused to give a statement or cooperate with our investigation. Unfortunately, this is nothing more than 2 disgruntled village employees who are trying to make off with the taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. No criminal charges have been filed against Andrew Holmes, but Las Vegas police do confirm that they have an open investigation into the claims. In Dolton, I'm Michelle Gallardo, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
So what you see there is them giving you the rundown of what has been told to them, what was told to the young lady by this officer, who they later put down. See, here's the thing I have a problem with. I have a problem with the fact that, and this is how I know that these people are a part of the show. Because if it were you, if it were me, and someone were to bring some information like that to us, one of 2 things, as I've been saying for the past few months, I got to go back to my experience and work. One of 2 things, you're going to say, hey, yo, whoa, wait a minute, dude, you're out of here. You go away. We're going to have you investigated, but you're not coming back here until we're done. And just to make sure that my hands are clean, let me go ahead and get an outside investigator to come in here. and let them go over and deal with all this. I'm gonna let my hands off of it. I'm gonna encourage this lady to go down here to the police department, and let her do whatever she needs to do within the law. I'm not gonna prevent her from going to talk to anybody. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna encourage her to go back to Nevada. If she would like to go to Nevada, we will pay for her to go to Nevada. You can go to Nevada, make sure that you get this thing taken care of. If you feel it necessary, leave it to her, but open the door for her to protect herself in every way, shape, or form. Why would you, as a woman, stand in between that? Unless, of course, this man got enough dirt on you to put you 6 feet under. Aha. Which is the reason why you must stay above reproach at all times. You have to stay above reproach, because if you do not, then you are very easily compromised. And let's not forget, we can't find all of the forms and records that we need on her. The only thing that we've been able to dig up was something that they couldn't scrub before most of us got to it. And that was her arrest record. By her, I mean Tiffany. That's the only stuff we were able. The last piece of paper that they could not shred, that they could not scrub, we got that. And by we, I mean most of us bloggers. We got it. They couldn't get that quick enough. But who knows what they got before that? Because see, I'm going to tell you, if a person has had that type of encounter where you're trying to rob cars and stuff like that, there's nothing you won't do. And then you bring all of your homeboys with you. From the gentleman that she had that had the grape case. We have to say graping, the grape case where he was incarcerated for 12 years for underage girl. That she had being the head of the division that goes in and out of the houses, the code enforcement, who has to go inside of people's houses. She was actually allowing that man to go in folks' houses until they found out what his background was. So she brought all of her cohorts, birds of a feather. See, my friends are people like Anthony Van Zandt, Revelation Broadcasting. All right, who else is in here that knows me? Steve Willis. All right, Flow State. Good people, Derek C. Williams. All right, those are the individuals that I call acquaintances or good friends. Rusty Smith, Black Spring with Autumn, birds of a feather. So when she got the position as a mayor, she drug all of them dudes with her. Ma Beagle and the gang. Homegirl was Ma Beagle. She brought every one of the Beagle boys with her. Every single one of them. She brought every one of them dudes. They was all wearing orange jumpsuits. Some of them had stripes this way. Okay, I got on checkers. Some of them had stripes going this way. Some of them was all orange because that's the new black. Some of them had their hands right here around their waist and they was running. Had them around the ankles. Had all kind of chains around the ankles. She brought out the worst of the worst. If you look at everybody that she's got, that she's dealing with, as we've done on this channel, you will see that the majority of these cats are bad news bears. Allegedly. Again, I ain't got that kind of money. So she had something else going on that we don't know about. Now let's take a piece of what we talked about earlier. Let's switch reels. Let's go back to the bench and let's start it again. Coming off the bench. Starting again. Yeah. Hey, I tell you what. This is the 4th time we done caught you trying to break into these cars, but we got a plan for you. We want to know if you'll be interested in doing something. Now, I know you down there in Dolton, and we need somebody that we can put in place out there. It's 2 areas we're concerned with. We give you some money, we give you a position, we give you a title. All we want you to do is take your money, put it where you want it to go, and just do what we say. Don't worry. I know you've never done this before, but we'll have legal counsel there with you, allegedly. We're going to have everything that you need to keep yourself in the know. All right? That's what we're going to do. So it's either that or you go to jail. But we'll give you about 15 minutes to make your choice. You want to call your mama? Really? Have you seen your mama in the past 10 years? Oh, you haven't? So why you need to see it now? We need a decision. Time is winding down. You got 7.5 minutes left. You want to see your baby again? Or you want to go home? Or you want to go to prison? It's up to you. That's the only two choices you got. I believe girlfriend took that choice. I believe that each and every one of these individuals that we're seeing right now that's just plastered all over the internet, every one of these individuals have been compromised or are compromisable. Because how could you get so many individuals, especially those who are in the judicial system, who've gone to school, who have graduated, who have walked across the stage and gotten their diploma and have gone on to the bar, who have gone on to law school and gone on and passed the bar and, have just excelled and who've done all these great things. And now all of a sudden, Black folk just gonna throw it away like that? So the last good one was Thurgood. Is that what we to believe? The last good one was Thurgood. That was it. We don't have nobody else besides him. We don't have anybody else besides the one who was the brain surgeon under Trump. That was it. So there's no more after that. There are no more after that. Because when we look at Condoleezza Rice, we were told that was it. But even with Condoleezza Rice, that was it. See, I'm talking about the folks that knew how to stay above some mess. Not that they didn't have to do their thing too, because I'm not saying none of them wasn't tap dancing. I'm sure a whole lot of them were. A whole lot of them were. Okay? But what I mean to tell you is that in as much as they was tap dancing, we didn't see this level of corruption that continued and continued and continued and continued. We didn't see this. So why are we able to see it now? I believe that, yes, it was there all along as it relates to throughout history, because only a few years ago, there was a video where you saw Reverend Porkchop. What's his name? Reverend Porkchop, where he come out and said that he was working for the CIA. The one that went, he's a bobblehead now, he's so thin. What's his name? Reverend Al Sharpton, where he said he was working for the CIA. He said that out of his own mouth. I didn't say it. I can show you where he said it, but I didn't say it. He did. So there have always been these individuals who have been easily purchased. We just didn't know it. And then they weren't as egregious as what we're seeing now. And I believe that because they are allowed to continue in their job until somebody snuffs them out, is because they're there for a visual purpose. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's get some comments in here and then we can go on ahead and look at some more. If any one of us did what these people are accused of, we'd be put away with the key to lost time. That's absolutely right. Agreed. You agree with Revelation, absolutely. Ma Beagle, baby. Ma Beagle, I'm telling you. Come on, boys. Let's get it all. Take all the money. How many other cities are they doing this in? Solemn Peace. I have a story that I did a very short. Yes, Al Sharpton. Absolutely, Anthony. That I did earlier today as a one of those videos that's like this now, vertical videos on YouTube. And we're talking about Christina Peterson. Well, Christina Peterson has a very sordid past. Christina Peterson is a judge, a probate judge out in, just to answer your question, a probate judge out in Douglasville, Georgia. This particular judge that we do have a live coming up on her, probably be immediately after this one. And it's just to make sure that we get it out there and get it done. Not that I want to belabor any of you, but it is coming up tonight. What Christina Peterson did is she was elected as the first-time judge, a probate judge there in Douglasville, Georgia. Since the time she got there, she has been brought up on charges of misconduct from one thing to another. 50 counts was what she had originally, and then they took away 20 of them, which left the remaining 30 to be decided on by a 3-man panel. And this particular panel has decided that she must go. She's got to go. That's it. The original thumbnail for this show was that one. But because this was so pressing and I wanted us to get this done, I decided to go ahead and do this one first, and then we'll go ahead and do that one. So I'll be up here for a minute. But my point is, her, Fani Willis, the lady, the AG out in New York, oh, what a horrendous situation. Listen, I don't care who it is. I don't care. It could be Bob the Builder. I believe that each and every one of these individuals are being used in part and parcel to actually subdue the masses. So I believe that everything you're able to see is actually being able to be, is like a program being dropped inside your mind so that you can see it. And then once you see it, now, if it happens to Bob down the street or Sally across the road, then you're going to say, well, they did it to the president, the former president. You know what they're going to do to you. You ain't nobody. He was a millionaire. Well, he could be a part of this too. He can get it. He can get it. Every one of them can get it. Why? Because you're moved by what your eyes see. And media, okay, what goes in here goes here, and it comes out here, all that fear. So of course they could use him. They could use him in every court in the land. He can go everywhere. But that chick right there did some things in New York that was so criminal. Everything this dude has gone up against, if you start to dig and undo and start to read for yourself, not what somebody else tells you is going on, you'll see that a lot of this stuff, there's no there. Listen, the state of New York, I'm going to give a quick example and make my point. The state of New York allowed people a window to go and pursue charges against individuals who had wronged them in a sexual encounter or whatnot. They opened up a window and they said, okay, we're going to lift the statute of limitations for you to get in and make your complaint. And a few people walked through that door and they made their complaints. But the people who were notable was one person in particular. And that's a lady who couldn't remember what the name of the hotel was. She couldn't remember where she was. She couldn't remember what she was trying on. All she knew is that Trump grabbed her panocha. That's what he grabbed. That's what she said. She didn't remember where. She didn't remember where. She didn't remember how. All she knew was she was in the dressing room and her panocha got snatched. Whole handful of panocha. Then they closed the window. After she got a chance to make her complaint about the 90s, after P. Diddy's old girlfriend got a chance to make her complaints, and a couple of other people got to make their complaints against other rock stars, that you had to see all of their names thrown out at the same time. You had to see all those names thrown out at the exact same time. Why? So that you could say, well, it wasn't just Trump. And then they go, bingo, bango, got him. Bingo, bango, got him. Because that one they wanted, they got. And then I even think I got some opinions about Mr. Diddy. Diddy? I don't even want to tell you my opinion. I'll save that for another day. But as it relates to this right here, this is the reason why I'm looking at the AG out there and I'm like, gee whiz, you got to be a plan. Not to mention the fact that you had a big, gigantic bullhorn only a few years ago, protesting against him, and you weren't even in your seated position that you're in now. You were definitely against him. You didn't want him anywhere near, and you just couldn't stand him, and it was your job to get rid of him, and it was your job to do all this other stuff. Yada, 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 acca-wacca. The point that I'm making is you're not going to see any more of your representation. And if you are in a city that's like one of these cities and you are not making your voice heard and saying, excuse me, can we look and see your background? We need to see your full background. We need to know what school you went to. We need to see the people that went to school with you, not you tell us where you went to school, not you tell us. How many of us that grew up in this neighborhood ever seen her? That's the same thing that happened in Georgia. When I was in Georgia, when I was living there, I was like, wait a minute, Ossoff, who's he? Where did he come from? I said, oh no. So I ran around, make sure I told everybody, don't vote for that dude. He ain't even from out here. And that first time he didn't make it. As soon as I moved here, they pulled him up again and he made it. Not because of me, But because people do not look and don't do any research, and what I'm telling you about this situation right now is we've got the lady that's the AG. We've got the other woman who's another judge that just zapped him. We got the woman out there, Fannie Willis, who they didn't even know she had all this stuff going on in the background with her because they had planned on him being, and by him, I mean Trump, him tap dancing with her right now. Then they got another black woman. Then they got a black man. Then they got another. Y'all ain't going to have no representation here in a minute. There's not going to be any. None. But we'll see who they're going to put in your stead. I already know who's going to be put in your stead, who's going to be put in our stead, who's going to be put in our face. Something very curious happened, and I want to bring this guy to you guys' attention. I want to bring this to your attention because I'm going to right. Is it this one? No. I want to let you guys see this though, because there's a spoof that they did at Fox on Lori Lightfoot. Okay. And I want you guys to see this because it's hilarious. But there is something that was very curious that happened. And it was a similar story that happened to one of the other people who are in Dolton, a woman, an older woman who used to be a trustee. She had her whole entire house shot up. And I think I showed you guys that a couple of months ago. This had her house shot up. And they said, allegedly, they claimed that it was shot up by some of the people who work allegedly for Tiffany Henyard. This is what they alleged at the time. This is what the woman alleged. But here's a story that's going to show us a little bit of something that happened with Lori Lightfoot last month. And I thought to myself, public may have known about them looking to hire Lori Lightfoot a couple of weeks ago. But the rumblings and the conversations before something like that is even able to go public is only after you guys have already had some type of conversations in the past, which would have put us right around March, right? Let's take a look at this. This was very curious to me. All right, here you are.
And we continue to follow this story. A shooting outside the home of former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is under investigation. Happened around 3 o'clock this morning. At least one shot hit the windshield of an unmarked squad car that was parked outside of Lightfoot's home in the 3400 block of West Wrightwood. Two officers sitting inside the car did not realize what happened until they found the bullet. No injuries were reported and no one is in custody.
Family members.
So did you see that?
Police say he was ambushed.
I thought that was very curious because there was an older woman, a former, let's see if we can find that. I'll even use this. I'll use the same window. But there was a former trustee who said that her entire house was shot up. And now this, why would somebody wait till right now to go to her house and shoot it up? Why would that happen? That doesn't make any sense. Not to me. It doesn't make any sense. But let me see. There was a former all right, so let's see. Yeah, former trustee. I'm going to go inside of YouTube. I tell you, they have really ruined their product. Not that they care much, but they have totally dumbed down Google and Microsoft. They're absolutely laughable search engines now. Where is she? Where's the woman? It was a lady. 11 months ago, Dolton police shoot and kill a man in the backyard. Boy, let me tell you, those dudes are something else. Those police out there are off the chain. Shot her house up. Is this her? I guess they scrubbed it. Huh. But we just showed it, what, 2 months ago? Yeah, we showed it a couple of months ago. I know we did. And it just was, and I don't have the story here. Mm. Yeah, it's not here. Huh. Hmm. Mm-mm. Nowhere here. Huh. Isn't that special? Absolutely special. Is I want to see is Sandy here? Anybody that can pull that up. It was a former Dolton trustee, and her home was shot up, allegedly. She thinks that it was shot up by Tiffany Henyard's police. But this story that we just got through looking at, dealing specifically with the Lori Lightfoot's house. My question is, why would somebody choose to shoot her house up now? This particular type of MO is what we saw with this lady saying that, her whole house got shot up. Anyway, let's get on to it. I want to look at the only the specifics dealing with I want to see only the part that deals with the lieutenants. They're going to go through all of that. I don't want to go through all of that. But I have to, because I need you guys to see exactly what he said and how he got involved in this whole thing. Because to me, it didn't make much sense that they even had him in this situation as an employee.
As WGN Investigates was first to report today, a top aide to Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has been indicted for bankruptcy fraud. It comes amid ongoing questions about Henyard's spending and leadership.
And legal experts say it could be the first sign that the feds are trying to get people to share what they know about potential government corruption in the South suburbs.
Let's be smarter than that. This is not just the price is right.
Despite sitting next to Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard at countless meetings, the feds allege Keith Freeman not only failed to report his income from the village, he actively lied about it. Freeman is Henyard's top aide in both Dolton and Thornton Township. As part of a personal bankruptcy case, he was required to report his earnings. But this indictment on one count of bankruptcy fraud says Freeman falsely stated he only worked for the township and made just over $99,000 last year. Prosecutors say he tried to hide his Dolton earnings via a pass-through company, which brought his income to $195,000 last year. They further allege the village of Robbins has a claim against Freeman for more than $90,000 he took without authorization from a previous post he held as village administrator there.
This is long coming. If a person can lie on their own financials, what do you think they're doing for the village?
Nobody is untouchable. That's what I want to say. Nobody is untouchable. So if this is just the first domino to all of them falling, let it happen.
Dude, Jay Bradley, how you feeling?
Freeman is a key player in our reporting on Tiffany Henyard because of how many roles he plays for her. In addition to the Dolton and Township jobs, Freeman also, for a time, was the registered agent of the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation.
But there's no foundation in the state of Illinois moving like we move, and shaking group like we doing. Right? That's right.
While Henyard's namesake charity claims to help cancer patients, WGN Investigates has reported it received most of its early money from taxpayers and has failed to file required paperwork showing how it spends its money.
How come you don't respond to my emails?
There you go. There you go. Huh? There you go. That's all you're getting from me. That's all you're getting from me today.
How come the charity hasn't filed its financial disclosures about how money was spent?
How would I know that? That's a good question, though.
For months, WGN Investigates has reported on questionable conduct on Henyard's watch, including unexplained travel, including first-class airfare and fine dining on the taxpayer's dime. Credit card statements show Freeman was on many of the trips, including one to Las Vegas, where another Henyard aide now claims a Dolton trustee sexually assaulted her. Others accuse Henyard of using Freeman and other government employees to retaliate against her opponents. Court watchers say the feds could use the bankruptcy charge against Freeman to get him to cooperate in other investigations.
when the feds are looking at a larger scheme or relationship, oftentimes what they have to do is go for people who are below or the lower part of the food chain, get them for something, charge them with something, because that's the leverage they need to be able to sit down with that person and say, now, if you help us, life might be good for you. If you don't help us, you're in a lot of trouble. Now, what do you want to do?
So I said 1 down, about 25 more to go.
No comment this afternoon from Keith Freeman. His boss, Tiffany Henyard, said through a spokesperson that she's aware of the indictment but won't comment due to the ongoing investigation. So we don't know whether taxpayers will continue paying Freeman's 2 salaries despite today's bankruptcy fraud charge.
And I want to thank you to one of our wonderful, wonderful folks that's hanging out here with us, Solemn Peace Valeria Stubbs. That is her name. Let me pull up a video to show you guys. It was actually the lady that was in that last clip that we just saw. So hopefully when I pull this one up, there'll be more from her, because she is the lady who said that it happened to her house. And she's very vocal. Valerie Stubbs is very vocal on what's what. Here, let's just go. This was 2 years ago. Ooh, Valerie Stubbs fired the rapist protest. Ooh.
Tell me a little bit about what you're thinking about.
If that shit ain't happened to them.
What's my thinking? I think that, and I don't even want to call her mayor, because she actually bit off more than what she can chew. And she's violating the Open Meetings Act by not allowing the residents to participate in the board meetings. Probably our village is probably the only one that have been shut down, and now we can't even go on the chat and ask our questions. And when we did, the questions were never answered. So for her to say that we can email our questions and there will be a response to it is a bald-faced lie. You know, Tiffany sat out here in 2018, right here, along with myself and other residents, with tape on our mouth because Mayor Riley at that time was trying to shut the trustees and the residents down. And she sat out here with tape on her mouth, and you can look it up and you'll see her standing out here. And because her voice wasn't being heard, and now she's doing the same identical thing as to not allowing the residents to speak. These are our tax dollars. My taxes is over $20,000 a year to live in the village of Dolton. And you telling me that I don't have a right to say what go on with my tax dollars? I don't have a voice? That's unheard of. And she's violating our First Amendment right. She needs to step down and let somebody else run for that office that can do the job, because obviously she can't do it. And she didn't do it as a trustee.
You know why else she needs to step
everything
down?
She's
because
doing,
she was living in South Holland when she ran on 173rd Street in South Holland.
As a trustee for the village of Dolton. You have, what's his name, Lavelle Redmond. You know, an ex.
All I gotta say is, if that wasn't a photo bomb, I don't know what was. Girlfriend need her own microphone, but let's finish.
Sex offender. Okay, that's fine and dandy. Take him and put him in public work somewhere if you're going to give him a second chance. Don't have him going out here
with her that's
knocking
not
on doors to
somebody else.
resident houses with a squad car with.
The problem is the only videos that I find are things like Hannibal or somebody else has put up, and I don't want to touch their work. I don't have a relationship with them, and I don't want to use their work. And then, you know, obviously they see that I used it, and then we have an issue. I don't know them. I don't personally know them, but I know that there was a story that we covered that showed her talking to the news. Maybe they took it away. I don't know, but let's just go ahead and finish.
Lights and a badge. You know, that's unfortunate. This is what she's doing. As a matter of fact, she have her cousin out here. I'm going to go and call his name. His name is Dion Taylor. He lives at 11844 South State Street in the city of Chicago. How come if you're so concerned about the residents out here and employment, she just had a job fair, why not give some of those jobs to the residents that live here, that had a stake in here, and as opposed to her family members, and to ex sex offender. That's unheard of. Anything else you want to know?
Well, we have a very good question that was posed right here. And it says, why don't the people of Chicago demand a vote and get this woman out of office? They tried it. That's how I know. So let's put it together. They tried to do a recall. That did not work. The next thing they tried to do, there was nobody that was running for the supervisor the night that she won supervisor for the actual 17 village township, the whole township. Nobody was running. And it was just by the nick of time that they got her in there, just in the nick of time. Okay, so with that, yeah, tell us how it feels to have your lips smashed through your teeth. Terrible, right? Rooster Colbert, it's unbelievable that this stuff is going on right in their face, right in their faces. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to go on ahead and talk about the fact that, as a follow-up to all these stories that we've been doing with this, one of them is the investigation that's being done by the FBI. Now that we have somebody like Lori Lightfoot involved, and again, two sides. We already know the one side, but we're dealing with the public side right now. And the public side says, okay, what happens after they do a whole big thorough investigation and the chick still sits there because she has a purpose to serve, a dual purpose to serve. Purpose to serve is once we put her out of there and put somebody else that we want in that don't look like y'all, you can't say we never gave you guys a chance. And then the next purpose is while we have this dodo bird sitting here doing all the things that we want her to do as a marionette would, we're going to go on ahead and finish putting all these other things in place in this area that we have, which is a very, very long that is a historic area, that Dolton area. Whole lot of stuff. Right now, they've actually funded and have allowed a plant that burns fecal matter. There's a plant there, right there in the middle of their area. And you know how they do wastewater? They'll take wastewater, they'll take the sewage and the sludge, and they'll do all this other stuff, and they'll turn it into something else. They've got all kinds of stuff happening right there in that city. That I believe that if the people there knew everything that was going on, for me to be able to do as much digging as I've done, I don't understand why they're not complaining about that. But that's my point, is that you're able to see this other stuff, but you do not see the stuff that can physically harm you and your children. Don't forget that not too far from there, not too far from that whole area, that whole Midwest area, they had water that was terrible, absolutely horrifying. In Michigan, right? That was Michigan. Terrible situation. Terrible. So there's a lot of silence that's going on certain things. Now, here's the deal. Those trustees that are the ones that are looking like they're okay, they're the ones who actually had to have something with getting that approved. There's a lot of stuff that's going on there. A lot of stuff. The attorney that's making the $900,000 a year, or every 2 years, I believe. I think he's $450,000 a year. He has a lot to do with immigration. He has a lot to do with people, helping people come in and immigration. He also does. He does lots of things. He does loads of things. But there's a few things that I was able to see that he does specifically. In tandem with these things that are being scrubbed, there was also something that popped up in my feed about a month ago, and I sort of side-eyed it. It was showing the graduation and the graduation and all of the associates and bachelor's degrees that one Tiffany Henyard had acquired. That was weird, because when I had done my original background on this chick, all public stuff, couldn't find anything. Can't find nothing beyond Dolton on her. Couldn't find it. But then all of a sudden in my feed, You ask her it, you got a Toyota. Here comes her big lies, because I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm like, how are you going to graduate summa cum laude? How are you going to graduate like this or like that? How you, one who cannot even conjugate a verb, one who has not the ability to have anything go trippingly off the tongue. No, you cannot. So there we go with that. I have to give you this in closing, because they cut a fool on Fox dealing with this chick. When I say they cut a fool, they cut a fool. What is this? Here, they cut a fool.
Ousted Chicago mayor and TikTok dance sensation Lori. She's back. Ousted Chicago mayor and TikTok dance sensation Lori Lightfoot, putting years of experience on how to destroy a city to good use by investigating America's worst mayor, her successor, right? Lightfoot is getting paid $400 an hour by the Illinois village of Dolton to probe their Democrat mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany is allegedly a cartoon character of corruption, accused of embezzling public money, taking lavish trips at public expense, all while making nearly 300 G's when the town is $5 million in the red. Lori vows to get to the bottom of it.
I will do my utmost, if this motion is passed, to make sure that I serve you with integrity. The residents of Dolton deserve nothing less than a government that is fully accountable, responsive, transparent, and effective stewards of your precious tax dollars.
Yeah, of course, there's the logic. It takes one to know one. But Jesse, this is the real story. The most incompetent leftist still has a safety net, right? You know, Brian Stelter gets fired from CNN. He gets a job at Harvard to keep him afloat until he finds something else at Arby's. Lightfoot finds this job investigating the worst mayor of ever after she was the worst mayor.
Lord have mercy. Did you just hear this man throw shade? This man just said, find a job at Arby's. Oh, my Lord. I got to go back. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go.
Finds this job investigating the worst mayor of ever after she was the worst mayor. There is no safety net for you, Jesse. You lose to keep him afloat until he finds something else at Arby's. Lightfoot finds this job investigating the worst mayor of ever after she was the worst mayor. There is no safety net for you, Jesse. You lose this job.
There's not?
No.
You mean I'm out on a live wire right now?
News Now wouldn't even take you.
What's that?
I don't know. I just popped into my head.
I don't want to say anything about them. I could. I see this as if you know what you want for a result.
Mm-hmm.
You hire a firm or you hire someone to do an investigation. I'm using a lot of these air quotes.
Yes.
But you get what I'm saying. You do an investigation. It's been predetermined. And Lori will, I'm sure, do whatever she's been told to do, which is probably keep this woman in office.
Disagree.
I have to
disagree?
Totally disagree.
She's going to get the axe?
Nope, absolutely.
She's going to get the axe. Well, with analysis like that, maybe I will be leaving here soon.
I gotta say, I don't like Jesse. All right, Jessica. I suppose she has expertise in.
So you hear they're going off and they're making some light banter and making some light fun, but they are pointing out some of the same things that you and I have been discussing this evening, and that is that there's nobody better to bring in than somebody like that. However, let's not forget the fact that, yes, they are both Democrats and they are both on the same side of the table. Not that there are good, bad, all Democrats are bad or all Democrats are good, just like not all Republicans are good, not all of them are bad. I guess, you know what I mean? You could have your opinion about rhinos. You could have your opinion about people who are Democrats who are turncoats as well. That's not really the point. I think the issue that they're talking about and what I'm talking about is the same thing. And that is, you have to let this play out and see if she's going to have a job when this whole thing is over. Because again, in order for you to allow the shot clock to run, you got to be doing something for the shot clock to be running. So what are they doing while the clock is running? what's really going on while this clock is running. While the clock is running, they are doing something. Okay? I also want to bring something home and just drag it down through, just drag it through the garden. Just take the hoe and take the vegetables, just drag them through the garden. You don't want to know what I want to drag through the garden? This whole Gen X. Who's the Gen Xers? Who's a Gen X? Who are the X? What is the age category for the X? Quickly, anybody, you can just guess. Put that down there for me where I can see it in the comments. And don't forget, please, to hit the like button. Hit the like button. Just interact with that button. Massage it, baby. You can like it or you don't have to like it, but just do something to help us get this out. But here's the question. Who are the Gen X's? Because I got something for you. I want you to put it down there. I can't see it yet. Let me go on the outside and see if you guys are able to chat with me because I'm not able to see anything. Let me see if you guys are talking to me. I don't see anybody. Are you guys typing? Huh. X's. Gen X are supposed to be the individuals that are born between something, and I think the cutoff is like right there at 60, 64, 65. It's never anything, like concrete, as in the cutoff date. Okay. So you've got the Gen X, you've got X, you got what do they call them? X and Z. Gen Z, what are they got them? Xers, Zers, or something. Oh, 44 to 59. 1944 to 59 are the age. Age, yes, 44 to 59. You guys are, I know, it's like everything's so slow. Everything is so slow, Rooster. Steve says, I just don't know. 44 to 59. But think it not strange that there's a disease that they say is there's going to be like this gigantic thing that's going to come through and just whip, and it's called disease X. All they're doing is telling you who they going after the next time. I hate to say it, but that's all they doing. The WEF just came out and said it's going to be a disease X. It's going to be a pandemic X. It's going to be something it's going to be X. So who didn't they finish up out there in New York so that they could continue to have enough real estate for these people to go out and squat in? Hello, it's all planned. Every inch of it, every piece of it. They leave nothing on the butcher's floor. There's nothing left. Not one. They even render. Even if they don't eat the fat, they will utilize the fat to shine the shoe. There is nothing that goes untouched, that's wasted. Nothing. Nothing is wasted. Nothing at all. Are you kidding me? They would never waste it. They're going to get every single thing they can off of that bone and then some. It's absolutely right. Absolutely, it's right. So this goes hand in hand with what I'm saying. They have a whole area there in Dolton. That whole area there in Dolton that they were sitting over there picking on, that she's all grooming and loving on. The one that she's loving on is the elderly people in that community. A lot of the individuals that are there were former nurses and former post office workers, people who worked hard and had their job. The lady that you just saw talking about how long she's lived there and her taxes was $20,000. Baby, that's an X. They got to get all the X's out. So while they have enough of these little bitty smoke screens going over here, they're doing something over there. Like I said, you got the generation thing there where they're dealing with the water, where they're dealing with burning the lady. Even one of the ladies said, why are you guys burning poop in our city? And nobody is saying anything. Well, the exact same people who everyone was hailing a hero, those are the exact same people. Those four are the same exact people who voted that in. I believe, maybe not all of them. Maybe somebody, maybe there are others who predate them, who helped to push that through. The point that I'm making is she seems to be the only person that we're watching. And I don't believe she knew when they told her they were going to give her a whole bunch of money and she was going to be able to get her own stylist and go buy her fly suits and go do everything she needed to do for her daughter and sleep with that other woman's husband without any impunity at all, with impunity, I should say. With impunity, she could sleep with that woman's husband. Nobody was going to say nothing. She could threaten whoever she wanted with nobody going to be able to bother her. She can get all of her hair done, all the weave, all the makeup, all the styling, put everything on the books for the city, put everything for the books on the village, and just do what we tell you to do and you're going to be okay. She had no idea that they were going to be running. That they was going to be running. And that's what she doing. She running now. And they telling her it's going to be okay. But she doesn't even see what's put before her is literally a RICO charge. She literally has run an organization within this place that is dangerous. There's no safety net for her. There's none. And yes, they will use another person that looks identical to her as far as the hue of her skin and even her party to get out of the situation what they want. Because it's not about the person. It's about what they can do with what they can use you for. That's what this whole thing is about. That's what the whole thing's about. Without a doubt, that's what it is. Might be a good time to get in on the emerging poop burning industry. That's funny. That's real cute though. I'm going to go ahead and show you. There is a, just so that we know, there is a waste plant. It's a water treatment plant. Here it is. Yep, the Greenwood facility. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Because see, here's the thing. These are the things that are serious because these are the things that lobbyists need to know about. Let's just get down there. Let's just put it out there. These are the things that lobbyists love to talk about. These are the things that lobbyists need the distraction to move on with. At this treatment facility, we process and recover oil from emulsions and non-hazardous wastewaters. Thanks to our advanced treatment technology, we can accept and process difficult materials at this location. This is a petrochemical service. That's what they do there at this particular location. This one right here is 15 minutes outside of Chicago. Dolton's 20 minutes outside of it. This is the RCRA Part B permitted centralized waste treatment facility. Is located just 15 minutes outside of Chicago and is the home to the fleet of vacuum and tanker trailers. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do for you. I'm not going to say it public. I'm just going to do it and bring it to you. How about that? Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, it is. Of course I do. I most assuredly do. Because you know what? I just watched something with the WEF this morning, real early this morning. And unlike a lot of other people, they're very deliberate because the spirit that motivates is very deliberate and it's very on purpose. They weren't joking when they said X. They weren't, using it as saying, X could be anything. No, they meant X. They was not kidding. They were not kidding. That's what I believe. Oh yeah, a whole lot more. There's a lot that's afoot. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do my due diligence and let you see what I come up with. Let me tell you, It's really a strong concern sometimes, because sometimes when I get to doing digging, oftentimes I don't really even want to know once I get to digging. Then you guys don't see me for a minute because I uncover something and I'm like, OMG, what am I going to do about this? Just recently I was like that. And then I just couldn't take it, and I went ahead and I brought you guys something. I showed you on Headlines with the Voice. I took something and brought it to you and gave it to you over there. People were still not getting it, and that's okay. A lot of people did. My only point is that oftentimes when I get to digging and digging and digging, and I'm like, oh, wow, ooh, don't think I'm supposed to know that. Oh, yeah, Mr. Pritzker. Boy. Whoo, I really had a Love Jones for him when I found out that he thought that it was okay for people who were not citizens to be X, Y, or Z's. Okay, critic of Mayor Henya believes that embattled people ordered home to be sprayed. Thank you, sweetie. I just love you so. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to show that now. I hope this wasn't, oh, this is New York Post. Excellent. So let me go ahead and send this to myself. And I'll read this. Thank you. Thank you. May I say your name? Thank you, Flow State. All right, so let's get into the story here, because I do want to read this to you. But yeah, I'm going to do some digging for everybody. And when I do the digging, just promise me you'll share it. That's it. That's all I need. Just share it. All right. Here we go. Let's read this before we get out of here. All right. You know, I don't even know why they show this in my thingy all the time, as if I just love jewelry and that's all I do is sit up and look at it. That's amazing. I think I looked on that company one time. And now every time I turn around, they shoving stuff in my face. All right, is this a video? I hope there's no music behind it. Let me put it on here and test before I go. I don't feel like getting messed around with these humans or partial humans, subhuman species. Okay, so that's what you hear. That's what she said happened. All right. So a vocal critic of embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard believes that her home was sprayed with bullets at the behest of the official during a bitter feud between them last summer. Two cars belonging to tenants of former Village of Dolton trustee Valerie Stubbs, a retired member of the Cook County Sheriff's Office, was riddled with at least 9 shots last July. The raid, she believes, stems from her public attacks on Henyard, who's been accused of plundering the debt-ridden Illinois town coffers to pay for lavish travel, dinners, and personal indulgences. Asked if she believes Henyard, 40, was behind the shooting, Stubbs didn't hesitate. Absolutely, she told the Post. Stubbs said Henyard has personally menaced her at her home several times prior to the incident, and the first during a snowstorm. Okay, that's her right here. First time during a snowstorm, and at that time, Stubbs had accused the mayor of hiring a registered sex offender as a village code enforcement officer and publicly demanded that he be removed from his position. Henyard and her team did not respond to calls for comment from the Post on Monday. Soon after, Henyard posted a bizarre video of herself personally shoveling snow from Stubbs' driveway. To me, that seems like a little, bizarre. I don't know. Henyard and her team did not respond to calls for comments. It says, quote, "This is what it looked like. This is what it looks like when you pull up on your haters. Guess what? I am there for all my haters. It doesn't matter because I'm the mayor of Dolton, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and even the hateful." Clearly confused, Stubb emerged from her home and appears briefly on camera. Henyard told the others that she had called the village to have her snow cleared. "I never called her to come. She was just harassing me. I went to the next board meeting and I told her to stop lying." Several months later, after an unsuccessful recall effort Stubbs helped to organize, Henyard again came to her property with an intimidating caravan of police and city workers, the retired deputy said. She says, quote, "I wasn't home and they rang the doorbells of me and my tenants asking where I was." She said, "Now they called me and told me there were all these people outside. I called Henyard, but she didn't answer." Stubbs again went to the board meeting to confront the mayor during a public comment session. And she says, quote, "I wanted it on record that this woman was coming to my house and harassing me, and I told her not to come to my house again under any circumstances." That's what she said. 2 months later, Stubbs woke up at 6:30 a.m. to a barrage of gunshots. She went outside and comforted a shaken bystander who had been waiting for the bus at the time nearby. Ooh, Lord of mercy. Stubbs later went back to her house and saw 2 of her tenants' cars just completely riddled with bullet holes and shell casings on the ground. The video recorded by a neighbor's doorbell camera captured the shots and showed 2 men running from the scene, jumping into a white car and screeching off. Stubbs says she believes that Henyard was behind the incident. It was her. She did it. I'm telling y'all, it was her. She reported the shooting to the local police, but said the department is stocked with mayor's allies. They refused to give me a police report, and I haven't heard anything since, she says. We don't trust the police here. The residents in the neighborhood are so afraid of telling each other where they are going. Now they're telling each other where they're going for outings and notifying neighbors when they get home, Stubbs said. Henyard, a failed burger joint owner, has burst into the spotlight for her antics as mayor, including dressing up as a fictional drug kingpin Nino Brown from the 1991 crime classic New Jack City during a board meeting and having a DJ blast Rihanna's quote-unquote "bitch better have my money" during the proceeding. Critics assert that she is running a fiefdom of fear, pulling licenses from businesses who refuse to contribute to her coffers and using local law enforcement as her personal intimidation force. Thanks in part to Henyard's spending habits, the town of 20,000 people is now millions of dollars in debt. Mismanagement is so bad, some said, Dolton police cruisers are on the verge at this time of this writing of being repossessed for non-payment. Stubbs said that she now watches her back around town and is hoping the pleas for help from the struggled village will at some point be heard. Quote, "I just want to see justice done," Stubbs said. This is a darn shame. This is a darn shame. That's a darn shame. So this whole entire piece, all of this, I'm going to do my digging. And I almost know what I'm going to find out, because this is the kind of stuff that does not happen by accident. Somebody told this poor child that she was going to be okay and he was going to take care of her. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. That's what I think. So I'm going to get off here with this story. I'm going to come back. I'm going to just touch this other one, because the other one to me is just a shame. I just got to put it out there, though, because I truly, I don't know. I'm really, really, somebody send me something good about us. Somebody show me something good about us, something good that we're doing. Because I tell you, the stories that are in the forefront are so disheartening right now that it's a darn shame. It is a darn shame. But there is a rude awakening, and I gotta say this, and it's so sad because I feel it, I see it, and I'm sure that the majority of us that are in my age category, especially the women, we can see it because we have nieces and we have younger sisters and we have younger siblings and younger friends in our family and whatnot. And we can pretty much put our finger right there on the dike for one of the little holes. Then there's another hole. Then there's another hole. Finally, we're going to run out of fingers. We're going to run out of arms. It's going to be a game of Twister in a second. Because right now, that phrase that has plagued us, and I don't know who made it up, I'm a strong, Black, independent woman, and I don't need no man. Yeah, we may have said it, but I don't know who coined it first, and I don't know who shoveled it into our community. I don't know who shoveled it into our community, because I'm going to tell you honestly, just to be real candid with you, we have a strong exterior, most women do, but inside, we just want to be a lady. We just want somebody to take care of us and let us take care of them. Being nurturers by nature, that's all we really want to do. But for whatever reason, we've got this group of women who are running around here, messing everything up, running amok. They are running amok, and it's making it really bad for the women who have been raised to be ladies. There's nothing wrong with being who you are, dude. Nothing wrong with it at all. But unfortunately, we go through things and those things harden our exterior and people think that that's who we are. So I can't see any of us wanting to ever run around with that phrase on our own. Personally. I mean, somebody else, maybe you did, but for me, not me. I don't want that as I don't want that. Yeah, okay, I may be a strong person, but I have people that are in my life that really do know me. Some of them are right here in this chat right now. They really know me. And I believe that what we're seeing right now that's running rampant is about to have the most halting screech, the most screeching halt that we've ever seen in our lives. Because there's going to be a lot of bodies hitting the wall in a second. People are going so fast, believing that they're just the one, that they're just it, that they've got all this money, they got everything on the ball, they can do whatever they want to do, and nobody's going to say anything to them. Because I saw Fannie Willis get away with it, and I can do this because now they're expecting me to stand up for myself and be the strong, independent Black woman. Until they start to do some downsizing that literally affects you. Now, there's been loads of downsizing just recently. Mark my words, if you haven't already seen it in your own community, you're going to see a lot of those women who are strong, independent Black women. It's got a whole house full of kids, 2-3 kids. Funny thing is, those same ladies don't want to settle for a cat making $50,000 a year because they think that they deserve somebody who's making $100,000 and $150,000 a year, and she's only pulling in $60,000 herself because now some dodo bird in society on news or on the internet is telling her she needs a guy that's making a whole bunch of money. She got kids by other men. And it's not a problem because my dad was a stepdad. My birth father, of course, we know who he is, but my stepdad was a stepdad and he was a great guy. But now you're going to have her trying to go and schlep this guy, make sure that she schleps her and she and her children over to this guy and say, okay, son, I want you to take me and my kids and you need to make at least this amount of money. But in a minute, she's going to be sorry that she passed by that guy who just dealt with refuse, i.e. a trash man. She's going to be very sorry that she passed by the guy who was just, driving the bus in the local neighborhood there. Good, gentle guy. Gentle, decent man. Making decent money. Because they have used you. And the time is up now. You see these women that are running their cycle in the media? Follow that cycle and you will see the cycle of those that they've used to exact their revenge on the communities that these women live in. Because as soon as you turn around, they're going to zap. Y'all going to get zapped. There's going to be nowhere to hide. And I see it. I see it spiritually. I see it. In my spirit's eye, I see it. And it's absolutely the Jezebel spirit. Absolutely, R. Jones. That is exactly it. Michael Powell says some things are not personal, race, etc. No monopolies, private interpretations there. Yeah, Absolutely. Absolutely. And R. Jones, you know, we over here have been talking this for a long time. You know, especially if we go back to some of the old videos and stuff. You guys remember when I started this channel, I started specifically just to vent from all the crap that I was dealing with in my life. Then as time went on, it just became easier to do it because of being in radio for so many years. It just seemed like, okay, especially when Bettina put the foot on my neck and said, would you please hurry up and do something? But with that said, I can see this major thing where you're going to find a lot of women who get those loans. And I'm speaking to our community because I saw what happened with our community back in the last election. I saw it personally. How many women that I know that are double masters or masters and doctorate, PhD, and all these other things. And these women were in droves standing up with a person that I don't even hear them talk about anymore. I cannot get any of the friend girls that I have in my family or my relatives, I should say, and my family members. I don't hear any of them. Their soapboxes are gone. They were all on these big soapboxes, hailing this cat a hero. Now when a major catastrophe happens, they got to go to Baskin Robbins and drag him out by the heels because he's totally unaware of what's going on. I don't hear them anymore. None of them are making any of their great statements. I don't care. I just don't like him. I don't care. And I just ask those gentle questions. And when I ask them questions, I'm like, okay, so let me ask you this. And again, remember, I am not for him. Take away the names of the people and just leave the character, the fiber of the individual, the character of the individual in place. Okay? This is important. We have to leave the character, not necessarily the dude, because the dude, to me, is getting paid off too. Everybody is in the party. Everybody is in the party. All of them. They get done and they all go and have bourbon together and tear off the tips, cut off the tips of their cigars and get busy and relax. They're all playing, all of them are golfing together, y'all. What I'm talking about is the people who think that this is the time of their opportunity instead of being humble and looking at those opportunities and the places that they're put with their own gigs as a judge, as an attorney, just being humble and having enough. What does that look like, Felicia? Having enough means once you've attained what you have earned, that when someone comes up to you and offers you more, you have to weigh it out and you have to weigh out the cost and you have to say, no, right now I've got enough. Thank you for thinking of me. Be respectful. Just be respectful because you know you're dealing with all kinds of entities. You know what? Thank you for thinking of me, but I have enough. And go away. And then be prepared for any backlash if you receive any, but I doubt you'll get it. I think that they'll just move on to the next person. Because see, what we don't realize is whose mama or whose daddy owes somebody something and they approach that person's child. Yeah. So in a minute, you're going to see a lot of women that are not going to have any houses, unfortunately, anymore because they're not going to be able to afford them because a lot of people are going to start to lose their jobs. They're doing them and they're tearing it apart piece by piece. Little by little, it's happening. And because it's happening little by little, you're going to see a lot of women that are like these chicks that don't have their jobs and that are going to be unfortunately homeless and aren't going to have anybody to help them because they refused the dude who was working as a trash man. Nothing wrong with a trash man. He can take a shower, right? Cook for that brother the same way you would a millionaire. Oh, but then again, I forget most of you chicks can't cook. So we're done here. The investigation is underway. Let's see exactly what happens. Let's see exactly where it leads us. Let me read some of your comments before we go. I don't want to have anybody with some comments up here that may have had something really good to say. But it's important for us as women, and I'm speaking specifically, and you guys, I have to speak to my people because my people need my voice. the women in my community that I come from that look like me, they need to hear me tell them that it is okay to simply love a good man. It is okay to stand beside a good man. It is all right if the brother ain't making $200,000 a year. You making 60, he making 50 or 60. Y'all can do it if you learn to stay in your place. Let him do what he does. Let you do what you do. You guys each, like a well-oiled machine, will complement one another and you'll work it out. Learn to stretch. I know a lot of people say, I had one person tell me, I don't like that struggle love mentality. You're talking about struggle love. I'm not talking about struggle love. What I'm talking about is the reality of life. That some days you have good days and some days you have bad days. Some days you rocking with the money, some days you ain't. But my thing is, if you don't know how to handle it when you ain't got no money, baby, you ain't gonna make it. Because there have been people who made a whole bunch more money than what you crying over, jumping off buildings. So if you ain't got nobody to tell you and share with you how to do it and to just stay humble while you're going through it, I don't know what to say. So let me go ahead and get to some of your comments before we pull out. All righty. Okay, same things are not a personal, we said that, we read that one. Love you there, brother. Good to see you. Jezebel Spirit R. Jones said absolutely Kevin Samuels was on point. He was after he combed the internet and went through all of our videos. I see a lot of good that you're doing, Felicia. As long as we have you in the position you're in, there's still hope. You give me a lot of hope for a woman of color. I love you, precious, and I appreciate you for saying that. I love you and I appreciate you for saying that. That goes a long way and that means a lot to me. You have no idea how much it means to me. So I want to tell you, thank you, and to Yah be the glory, okay? All right, so let me go back and finish reading some more. So this says here, USMCA under Trump. And where are those degrees jobs today? Poof, replaced under that law. You see. I really like that Dick Gregory said, what happened to the beautiful Black woman? We always called them a strong Black woman. Yeah. Now that title, none of those women deserve. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part, Black Lexicon. Because, here's the thing. I believe that the deal is that the women who really are strong are the women who are doing the most silently. I think that the Fannie Willises have really harmed us. I think that this young lady has really done a number because, see, to us, we can see it. But to others, the media is going to show those people are going to fade away. They'll get a RICO charge or they'll get something that's going to happen to them and they'll go away. And what'll be left in the minds of those who don't know people like those is that vision. That's what's going to be left. And that's the bad part. That's what's sad. All right, let's see. Sounds to me like Stubbs is an active participant in the theatrics to make sure their fall girl takes a proper fall. Yeah, she does look like she wants her head to get a little ba-bump-a-dum. I have those moments too, little girl, honey. I'm telling you, lately I've been whoa, dealing with lots of stuff. My loved one, taking care of a loved one, and then I lost another couple of friends that were hard-headed and took some stuff that they shouldn't have took, and now they're no longer here. So it's a lot of stuff that's just like on your brain. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of stuff just hitting your mind at once. You're like, oh, wow, ooh, they're where? They did what? What happened to this one? What happened to that one? Oh, so much stuff. And then now being a caregiver as well. All right, so you think he was saying that? Yes, I do. Yeah, I really do. I do. Might be a good time. We just got to looking at that. Okay, Lyle put the time. Anthony put the dates, the years for us. I think we've pretty much got everything else. Let's see. We got some new comments. I agree with RFK Jr. Politics attracts narcissistic personalities. That's why we don't see true humility there at all. Whew, you are correct. They certainly need to hear what you're saying from a mature woman who looks like them. Absolutely. And I think that's the only thing. That's the reason why I make sure that I talk about it. In love. Because it's, let me just say this. Those of us who are willing to talk about it have apparently lived something in our lives where we understand that things could be better, things could be worse, but whichever situation we're in, we need to learn how to rock it the right way and how to live in peace no matter what. And unfortunately, sometimes we do come across circumstances that can make us want to act out, or maybe we have acted out. Maybe we acted a plum fool, and hopefully, if we got some good sense, we'll learn not to do it again. But I think these situations, like with this young lady, even having the doggone FBI coming in, I don't believe any of these people truly and honestly knew what they were signing on to. I believe they signed their name on a dotted line, that they joined a club that they're not privy of, and that they just thought that it was going to be cut and dry. I think somebody thought they was really, when this opportunity was brought to them, that they was really running game. I think they thought they was running game. That's what I think. I think they thought we can go ahead and run game on this. I can hire anybody I want to hire and bring anybody in I want to bring in. I can sign off on any agreements that I want to. I can hire any vendor that I want to. I don't need them. I'm the mayor. Somebody told her. Somebody said, you are it. All bucks stop with you. Nobody needs anybody but you. You are it. And just as you stated about narcissism, having the whole narcissistic thing, the narcissistic personalities, RFK Jr. you quoted here saying, that's absolutely right. Look at the young lady. Her clothes were flawless, impeccable every single time, not a hair out of place. And baby, when I tell you, as a makeup artist, personally, I'm a makeup artist, they were beating that face. She went from looking just like a regular chick with a Maybelline dual eyeliner, eyebrow pencil. Y'all know we've been there. You take the eyeliner and use it at the eyebrow too, brush them out a little bit, put a little powder, and go on in there and finish getting your money for the day. Go to work, baby. Go on to work, baby. She went from looking like that to looking like, whoa, flawless. So with that said, you guys, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here with us. Just remember that we are also going to be covering, much to my chagrin, and I say much to my chagrin because this is what is 23:20 right now. I may have to take care of myself, which I think I'm going to. I really wanted to get down into that, but I think I need to rest. I think I'm drinking with some water, a little cucumber water, and take my supplements and take my rump to sleep. And we have a soccer game tomorrow. So before I do my soccer game, I can be up early in the morning and it'll be on headlines. No, it won't. It'll be over here. And I'll invite headlines through the edit button and add them while we're online. So we're going to look at the judge, probate judge, Christy Patterson. The chick that they smashed and fired her. Okay. That's who we're looking at. That's her name. Let me go back over here because I got a witchy. I'm going to show you. I love showing you guys stuff as if you could really see it. As if y'all can really see it when I do this. I love doing this. Is this it? Yeah. And you guys can't see it. This is my editor. I edit sometimes on my phone. Cool beans, man. Let me see it. Can you guys see that? I'm almost embarrassed to show you. That's my editor. Cool beans. It's a she ain't gotta go home, but she must go. Hey! That was actually quite savvy. I thought that was quite funny. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to get up and do that in the morning. If you guys want to hang out here, you can. If not, when you get up, it'll be already posted. Harmonize no matter what. Indeed, Sister Fleefy. Oh, I love you, baby. So yeah, all right, you guys. So listen, just tune in the morning if you guys get up, and I'm already done because I got to be out of here to go to the soccer game tomorrow. My grandson is doing so well, playing really good. I'm very proud of him. All right, so you guys know what we always say. I want you to make sure that you take care of yourself before you take care of anybody. And remember, nobody else's words matter. The only word that truly does matter, because sometimes we even go back on our own word with ourselves, is the word of the Most High. That's the only thing you can fill yourself up on and continue to grow every single day. Every day. You can fill up on that, His word, over and over again, and it'll never grow tired in your spirit, in your mind, and in your heart. So I want each and every one of you guys to remember to take care of yourselves, because if you don't take care of you, nobody else is going to do it. Trust and believe it. One other thing I want you guys to practice. Lately, what I have been saying is no. It's a single sentence. It's one sentence. This is for somebody. It's a sentence, a complete sentence, and it's an anointed word. No. I've lately been saying, I'm sorry, I don't. I'm sorry, I can't. Oh, I apologize. No. I wish that I could. You will give and give and give and have nothing left but yourself on the side of the road. And there will be no one that will come and pick you up. But the wonderful thing is, if you're a person who learns from your experiences, the Most High will drop that sweet, sweet, sweet lesson in your memory banks. And He will remind you, this is why I gave it to you. It was your necessity that I met. Don't give of your necessity, because you gave of your necessity. When I tell you to give of your necessity, then you do it. But if I don't tell you to give of your necessity, don't do it. So He leaves that indelible mark for you in your memory. He didn't allow you to forget it. He allowed you to forgive the person, but you remember. You don't remember because you want to harm someone. You remember because even when you were a little kid and you burned your finger on the stove, you remember how that feeling felt, and you don't do it again. Conversely, we women can have multiple children because for whatever reason, the actual pain, we forget it until we're pushing out the next baby and we remember that hurt. That's all we can say. Hence, some of us have 3 kids, 2 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, because we don't remember it until we right there up on it, because the love that we see with that child sort of wipes it away. But when you go through the pain of being on the side of the road and having no one to call or no one answer as quickly as you do when they call you, you remember to take care of yourself. And once you've done that, you can reach around and take care of somebody else. Until we see each other again, I want you to do me a big favor and take care of my friend, because my friend is you. Love you. Hey everyone, it's me, Felicia, of the Lockhart Perspective and Headlines with a Voice. I want to tell you a little secret. This is what I used to do, because I don't do it anymore. I would go to the store, buy the barbecue sauce, pour it inside of a bowl, put a whole bunch of different spices, a dash of brown sugar, a dash of maple, and a dash of mustard, stir it all around, and everybody would be like, oh my gosh, this is the best, this is the best. But I was exhausted after all of that, and a lot of times I couldn't remember how many dashes of what I put in it. But I don't have to do that anymore, because now I just go to Judge Joe Brown's website and I order his 3-pack of bottled barbecue sauce. It is by far the best, and I do mean the best barbecue sauce I've ever eaten. And when you go to his website and you order his 3-pack, you'll see exactly what I mean. Head on over to jjbbbbq.com and order Judge Joe Brown's barbecue sauce. You'll be glad you did, and you're going to tell me about it. I know you will.
the car. Alright.
I remember yesterday. Yeah. Turning back to love.
Who in the deep sleep? Falling for the reverie. We was all on Taiwan, how we all on Beverly. Traded in our longevity for the brevity. Hit them with that sneak peek, let me jog your memory. Why you think we always hanging on the corners? We the seat. Look at how we scattered across the borders. Vassal with the tassel, back from the severance. Fringe benefits, bringing it back to my remembrance.
I remember where you told me I can still hear it when the wind blows. Raise the banner for the old me. Can it be? It was all so simple.